Frida Kerubo, Innocent Onyango, Clinton Ondigi, Diana Ndemo, Ishmael Mogere, Lynette Nyambane, Daniel Omwaga, eke nakige kos kiamesa yamangana Amayia. Eye Nensoko TV, Oboroso Bumugusi.
Manjito mulgeria wigita sengen Soko TV nigolireria bali na wika Chinsa Isano Ibere chiabo na mugaso chinga kina kwariganiria Amayia asenchra yobwenge karansi nyanyore unagende tukwatika kurwa Chinsa au unabutambi chengora kodeana ndemo nani kwariganiria semesa ya Amayia unabutambi. Manjito mulgeria togo chakabene nigo muraiwense moske William Ruto hatebire binasige kakyamara yo mwaka chiribubere na 30 nigo habeire eramani yo kura magendo imense niga yakwaniraya asesa bali atebire nigo yarura magendo aguchya kwenekwa asense ya Kenya erinyare ye kwenyorera lichikuliaye lijya naboigogosika obwene wamanyabanto negatie bintu binde agendeto kwana asisemo chiria cha KICC keratorigeretie 2030 2060 vision.
In 2008 became the roadmap for us as a nation to think long term about our development. Maybe I see some people straining to see. Long term for us to plan our way into prosperity. And we must commend President Mwai Kibaki and the vision bearers then, who provided a platform for us to put together what today is finally in the sunset years. Vision 2030 has provided a framework for us to figure out our development. It set out that Kenya should be an industrialized nation, middle income, high quality of life in a safe environment. All the targets we set for ourselves, we have been given a review of where we are on the economic pillar, on the social pillar, on the political pillar, and the enablers. And we have been given a scorecard by the Vision 2030 Secretariat. We have done fairly well in many aspects. We've done well in others more than others. We've been given the figures on the political pillar. We are at 80 plus. I think we have an A. And you can see it. We have a new constitution. We have a robust Bill of Rights. We have a democratic state. We have an open society, a rule of law. We have a working judiciary. We have a civil society that is not constrained, and we have made ourselves a very proud nation. In fact, globally, Kenya is recognized.
Singa kiechwego manjito mulgeria muraibenso tebire buna kwikirania amagenda yonse nigo turachikubwatira nabuna ba Kenya abarayi n'abanaichi erikwene kyabuna egangeyo n'echikunyara kego ikiranirwa.
To the people of Kenya, Nobody has a monopoly of good ideas. Beyond Vision 2030 is our collective responsibility. We must step up. It is a constitutional responsibility to each one of us. It is an obligation to each one of us to implement the Constitution. And part of implementing that Constitution is to figure out how we appropriate, access, and avail all rights that are provided for in the Constitution to everybody in Kenya. Whether it is human rights, electoral rights, rule of law, access to water, access to education, freedom from hunger, making sure that the Constitution, what the Constitution says, that every citizen must access the highest standards of health, the highest standards of education, the highest standards of housing. It is our responsibility collectively for us to have a plan on how this is going to be attained. And we have the opportunity. I want to pledge here.
Tugutigana na yu Manjito Mulgeria maraiwe kiama kia Wiper Patriotic Front Karonso Musyoka nere nigatebire buna nachikoene kia kemerige chaenge chikunyara kegosirwa angemono kurwase echiro ya Sudani nabaige chiro era sorogongo rwa ense ya Kenya as Chinsemo cha Mombasa.
I was encouraged by EATA's clarity of purpose, their vision to secure the best value for African tea in the global market. Not just Kenyan tea, because we realized that this association actually represents how many countries again?
10 countries.
10 countries. Their vision is one that speaks directly to the aspirations of the more than 1 million Kenyan households whose livelihoods depend on this crop. From the smallholder farmer in Kericho and Nyamira to the auctioneer and broker here at the Mombasa Tea Auction, the largest black tea trading floor in the entire world. It is a vision I fully associate myself with, and one that Kenya, as Africa's leading tea exporter, has both the standing and the obligation to champion. It is in this spirit that I recently visited the embassy of the Republic of Sudan in Nairobi and held discussions with the ambassador to personally present the grievances of our tea sector and to press for the lifting of the ban on Kenyan tea exports that Khartoum imposed on 14th March 2025. And they did that as a reciprocal measure. They made it very clear. They did that because of this government's interference in the internal affairs of an independent and sovereign republic. Sudan has for decades ranked among Kenya's top 4 tea export destinations, historically importing in the order of 35 million kilograms annually, valued at approximately $70 million. The abruptness of the ban caught the trade in mid-motion. Tea, worth more than $23 million, was left stranded along the supply chain, including 207 40-foot containers held at the port of Mombasa, with the attendant demurrage, warehousing, and financing costs falling squarely on our exporters and ultimately on our farmers. The ripple effect of this ban has been felt well beyond the tea sector itself. A closed market of this scale depresses prices at the Mombasa auction.
Nabigo Manjito Mulgeria litskolia rero nigaba bunge baumiranira se bunge erigo kwanira igoro yoko nganyi wako kuri mirimo be serikali asibabikire na gwite amachiko ali aranyaraga kubatwa hagati yabo Kolgeria cyamate cyabo nabo kuba libaga iribanyara bagukwanira igoro yo kunganyirwa kwabo kurwa sensemeyemo wika ensemo yende.
That have teachers that have been moved to a new area, and when they get to school, things become better in that school. That's the kind of transfer that we are looking at. We have seen transfers where a principal is not doing very well in a certain school because of the obtaining environment. But when he's transferred to another environment, he might even do better in that environment and give an opportunity to another person who comes to that new place who will even uplift the school. Those are the kind of transfers that we need to look at. And therefore, this country needs to relook at how transfer is done. But I would have argued that it can be done well in regulations and policy and not necessarily through statute. Again, we have seen, especially in provincial administration, which is currently called national government administration, we have seen where someone is doing very well, a DO or an SCC is doing very well, or a DCC is doing very well, and is actually pushing the community, and someone says, oh, probably this guy is looking for political power. And that guy gets transferred, or is looking for popularity, and is transferred from the field and taken to Jogo to become a desk officer, killing the career of this officer completely. Some officers become threat to seniors, and the only way seniors want to do is punish that person, remove him from the area that he is very competent, and promote him to an area of incompetence, so that you kill the dream of that person. I think, Honorable Speaker, I agree with Didmas Barasa. We must bring sanity into the transfer of the transfer regime of this country, so the transfers become enablers of production, enablers of performance, enablers of betterment, and not punishment, and not retrogression, and not killing dreams and careers of other officers.
Nabigo manjito mulgeria wagachi wegeti yoko munyora nabigo komo isko kipchoge kino nigo kegendete kureta umuchando asinsemo che dore time wasinigisho ase abamenyi b'ikinsemecho bagoteba buna nigo ebwa tumuchando ase abantu bari banyati bagusiya magimabo bakaba bagutinde ku asinsmecho.
Sisi hatuna shida na Kipchoge Stadium kuundwa ama kufanywa. But one thing we are very sure ni ati watu wetu wamelala hapa hivi. Watu wenye tulizika miaka kitambo sana. Na ni habari ya kuhuzunisha kuona kwamba hapa mahali kuna jengwa wall, na hata kujengwa wall we are very sure kwamba exhumation of the bodies will be done. It has been planned kwamba mili yenye ilizikwa hapa itatolewa. And you know for a fact kwamba sheria zetu are very clear kwamba when you have to exhume a body, you must have a court order. You must also carry something which is known as public participation. But that being said, how is it possible that the now government, led by the county government of Wasingishu, is carrying out or planning to carry out exhumation of bodies without carrying out public participation, number one, and also without having court orders, because clearly this is a violation of our rights. In fact, this is a site that should be protected as a matter of our culture and our heritage. Kwamba watu wetu waliwekwa hapa chini, lakini ukikuja kuwatoa basi unaenda kinyume na culture wetu. Waliolala hapa wamepumzika. Ombi letu ingekuwa ati wawachwe wapumzike vile wamelala tu. Na this one should be a monument rather than being a field. Na ni mkimbiaji mgani ama mchezaji mgani anaweza penda kukuja kutrainia mahali ambapo bodies have been exhumed, which part of a person. And after awali kulikuwa na various attempts of grabbing this land. We rejected those plans, and we were opposed to those plans by the grabbers. We are not sure kama ni wale land grabbers wenye walikuwa wanataka kuiba, kama bado ni wao wanapitia hii mambo ya Mashujaa Day na kusema kwamba Mashujaa Day inafanyika hapa hapa Pazingiru, alafu baadaye warudi. We want very clear answers from the government.
Manjito Mulgeria wagachibigetiyo kyogia Eliud Kepragat naryo utoira ase omotimoko korende Manjito Mulgeria chikora Chinsa 10 nyore ase obwagare nabigense mu yamarwana Chinsa isato chamargoba no nyore ayanda mange kurwase abasaki baito nabigali agendete kwenekiwa ase chingongo au imeneskensi ya Kenya kuri nasibono yenda gucengera mero bitu migitase ngiye tugen Soko TV na roboro sumo gusibu na utamenche koro kadana ndema